What up, YouTube? What's up? So, thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Oscar, who has watched every single video. What I really want to do today is answer the question: how did we get here? What's the idea behind this blockchain? How did we get to? How did we evolve from ordinary applications to where we have distributed applications, which is what blockchain technology is. Don't judge me. I have a PowerPoint slide that I put together. Exciting stuff. Just basically walks through what money really is, because the first application of blockchain was, of course, as we all know, is Bitcoin. We're just going to talk about money, talk about how we evolved from previous state to blockchain technology. Anyways, hope you enjoy. So, if you're ready, see I'm ready. Here we go. All right. Cool stuff. So, disclaimer. I'm going to talk about some concepts. I'm going to talk about things that have to do with money, or my understanding. We have to go through monetary history to get to talk about blockchain. Well, we don't have to, but well, we're going to. So a disclaimer out there, this is not financial advice in any way whatsoever. I'm just going to give you my own understanding of how we eventually got to this space. So there are different asset classes out there. These are not the only ones. You can start your own business. You can invest in paper assets. You can invest in real estate. You can invest in commodities like gold and silver. And of course, it's interesting here how we have cryptocurrencies that have crept up recently as an asset. Arguably, I'm not saying you should invest in it. Like I said, I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just couldn't find anywhere else to put it. So we put cryptocurrencies under commodities. I'm sure people will argue with me, but I'm the one that has the microphone. Anyway, so really, we have to ask a question, answer a question: what really is money? Now, like I said, before we even get talking about blockchain, we will just do a little bit of monetary history, because Bitcoin was the first application of blockchain, and Bitcoin arguably is a form of money. How is it a form of money? So really, let's answer the question: what is money? Money must be a unit of account. It must be an agreed upon medium of exchange. It must be divisible. It must be fungible. Fungible means $20 in my pocket must be the same as $20 in your pocket. Should be the same. And this is the most important attribute of money. It must be a store of value. Anything that is going to be money, or is going to be treated as money, has to be able to store its value over a long period of time. So it begs the question: the world's reserve currency is the United States dollar. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but before August 15, 1971, this is highlighted here. A dollar bill, or any currency, is basically just a receipt. The same way you could go to a dry cleaner, give the dry cleaner your clothes, and the dry cleaner gives you a receipt. So you use the receipt to pick up your clothes in a week, a couple of days. Well, similar concept with money. Money, or currency, excuse me, is just a piece of paper. It's the paper really has no value in itself, but it's backed by something. Well, before 1971, the US dollar was backed by gold. Here it says $20 in gold coin payable to the bearer on demand, which means you could give this $20 bill to a teller in the bank, and they'll give you a $20 gold coin. Well, this was before August 15, 1971. Now, why is that important? It is. But let me just show you a quick video. Probably I'll add it to you. This is Richard Nixon. This is when it happened. This is Richard Nixon, who was president of the United States at that time. And here's what he said.
The strength of a nation's currency is based on the strength of that nation's economy. And the American economy is by far the strongest in the world. Accordingly, I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
In other words, forget you. We're doing this anyway. I promise you should take the time and watch that video. Really, it'll say all the things that I probably can't say, but it's a very, very interesting one. So, before Nixon dropped that bomb, the US dollar was actually backed by gold. After that happened, the question is, how do we trust that any currency can retain its value over a long period of time. The question is, how do we really, like, the most important attribute of money is that it's a store of value. So how do we trust that any currency will retain its value over a long period of time? Most industries go through these phases, where a belief in God, to a belief in people, to a belief in data. I won't go through all the industries, but we're talking about money. In its application to money, money went from a theism, which is, when I say belief in God, I mean gold and silver, which is created by God. And so people used to use gold and silver as a medium of exchange. And they moved from gold and silver, like we saw in 1971, where every single currency was backed by the US dollar was backed by gold, to humanism, which is a belief in people. So we believed in the full faith of the United States government and government of the world to issue its currency, to a belief in data. This is where we are right now. You can get your entire paycheck in ones and zeros, which is just a credit to your bank account, and you might not actually see physical dollars. And that's the age that we're in right now. And we're moving from just digital currencies to cryptocurrencies. Isn't that just exciting? Digital currencies being US dollar. I don't like using digital currencies to talk about cryptocurrency because they're two entirely different things, in my opinion. Anyways, so question came. So how do we build a system or send money over the internet that is trustworthy? After 2008, a man named Satoshi Nakamoto wrote a white paper, and he came up with the concept of how we can have internet money, how we can send money over the internet, not backed by any federal government. And he came up with the concept of Bitcoin. Bitcoin solves this problem of decentralization, or solves the problem of being able to send money to someone without having to have a central location like a bank. Not going to go into all the details, but Bitcoin arguably uses this very, very complex math problem called the Byzantine generals problem to be able to solve this issue of being able of sending money to people, or having a system that is not centralized, but at the same time that is trustworthy, that is peer-to-peer, and that we can use to send money to people. So watch this video, and this video explains the concept of Bitcoin and how Bitcoin works and how Bitcoin solves this math problem. Now watch this.
I'm going to show it as one giant blockchain in the middle of a small network of computers. Let's follow a pizza transaction with Bitcoin. When the transaction occurs, it first appears on the network in a pool of unconfirmed transactions, along with thousands of others from all around the world. Millions of different computers from the network then gather some of these transactions and place them in their own blocks. The computers are all creating blocks constantly in the hope that theirs will be the next one added to the official chain. A new block is added to the chain every 10 minutes or so, when one of the computers wins the right to have its block recognized as the next in the chain and is rewarded with a prize of newly created bitcoins.
Cool beans. You gotta watch this video over and over again. It's by Mike Maloney, and it's really, really cool. It explains the concept. So what really is a blockchain? So like I said, we are in a phase whereby people are losing trust in currencies, or people are beginning to look at other ways that we can have a medium of exchange that is quick, that is not dependent on any central bank or any central authority, and it can still retain its value over a long period of time. So a man named Satoshi Nakamoto came up with a white paper in 2008 after the global financial crisis in 2008, and said, hey, I have a neat idea using this by solving this Byzantine generals problem and using cryptography and distributed systems, a whole bunch of different techniques or technologies. I have this idea, this application called Bitcoin, which is a store of value. It's a way where I don't need a centralized database, and I can send money to anywhere, to anyone, anywhere on the internet. So came up with Bitcoin. And so I would say arguably the major proponent, or the technology, one of the components of the Bitcoin network is blockchain technology. Blockchain, by definition, is a decentralized database that stores a registry of assets and transactions across a peer-to-peer network. It's a public registry of who owns what and who transacts what in blocks and blocks of data. So please go back and watch that Mike Maloney video. The concept is different computers around the world, all on this network with all these transactions. They go into the pool, pick up transactions, put it into a block. Then each node or each computer on the network, its goal is to solve a very complex problem and then place their block on the chain. The first computer on the network to do that receives a reward, and he or she gets his block to be added onto the chain. And then we do it all over again. We go into the pool, pull up some transactions, I put it into a block, and then try and solve this math problem, put it on the chain. So the process of solving this math problem and putting it on the chain is called mining. And by doing the math problem or solving the math problem is the proof of work which is completed before putting the block on the chain. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. I know there are some gurus out there that will probably want to crucify me or will be mad at me for not going through all the details, but that's the layman's definition. So the limitations of Bitcoin are speed, because doing this whole process that I just mentioned, like the video we just saw, takes time. It's kind of slow. Sometime in 2017, as more and more people were trying to buy Bitcoin, the fees or the price of the Bitcoin went up considerably. And last limitation is scalability. Because of this process we just described, it's kind of slow. It does less, out of this recording, just less than 10 transactions per second, unlike Visa that does over 100,000 transactions per second. So different people came up with different concepts and said, hey, well, Bitcoin is good. I like this blockchain concept that drives Bitcoin. Why don't we take that and come up with a different kind of, let's change a couple of things. Let's change this proof of work algorithm, and let's change that to because it takes so long, why don't we just do something else? And so there are different concepts that have come out, and that's why there are different coins, and they're all trying to solve this scalability problem. A man by the name of Vitalik Buterin and a couple of other people came together and said, I like this Bitcoin concept. Let's build on top of Bitcoin and be able to build smart contract, and that's Ethereum. And other people have come up with different ideas, different concepts, building on what Satoshi already did with Bitcoin. So because of the limitations that we have with Bitcoin, different arguments, different concepts have been introduced, like Ethereum, which is the same proof of work algorithm as Bitcoin with smart contracts on top of it. There's another concept out there, or technology called EOS, which instead of using proof of work, it uses a consensus algorithm called delegated proof of stake. So we have different ideas, different concepts. So we have other people who have done more research, and there's now a concept there called Hashgraph. Hashgraph is not even a blockchain. It uses a different concept entirely. It uses a voting algorithm on a gossip protocol, which is not a blockchain, like the example we just gave. So somebody else came out and said, hey, this is cool. Hashgraph is nice, blockchain is nice, but I have a different concept called a distributed acyclic graph, which is called a DAG. It's not a blockchain. It tries to solve the same Byzantine generals problem, but in a different way. So there are different algorithms, different ledgers, different ways of solving this problem, and that's led to different technologies, that has led to different coins, that has led to a very, very exciting time in this space. So my wish for you is that you learn how to code, because coding is changing, will change the world, especially this Bitcoin distributed ledger technology space, and those who get involved early, in my opinion, own the future. So let's go tell the rest of the world. Thank you. Links below. You can watch the he has something here on Hashgraph, which is he has something on Hashgraph, and that he also has something on, yeah, here we go, Bitcoin to Hashgraph. You should watch this. This is a very, very good video to watch, and also take the time and watch, you know, this Nixon speech as well. So guys, this is just explaining how we got to this whole blockchain concept to begin with, how we evolved from a belief in God to a belief in people, or how we evolved as a nation, how we went from using gold and silver to using other mediums of exchange to where we are today, where we're using clever cryptography and a distributed ledger like blockchain, like Hashgraph, like the DAG, to build cryptocurrencies. And it's a very exciting time. It's a wonderful, wonderful evolution. So thanks to Oscar once again for suggesting that we do this video. Put comments in the link below, and let me know what a video you want us to do out there, and we'll do the same. My wish for you is that you learn the code, because it is a stone cold fact that coding is changing, will change the world. And in my opinion, people who get in early into this Bitcoin distributed ledger, blockchain distributed ledger space own the future. So let's go tell the rest of the world. Thank you. Thank you.